Recording in progress.
Hi, you all. Welcome back to C's podcast. I'm your host, Sherelle Morel. If you don't know, C's podcast is about healing, it's about breaking generational cycles, generational trauma. I'm really excited because I have a very important guest on today's episode. His name's Jeremy, and he's going to share his experience on, family trauma, just some of the things that, he's doing to heal and move forward. So, Jeremy, I'm so happy that you are on C's podcast. And yes, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, let us know how old you are and where you're from.
All right, so my name is Jeremy, but you can find me on social media at Down South Chico. I'm 34 years old from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right now, country now, huh?
Yeah, you can hear it comes out when I'm like real comfortable. It comes out. It comes
All
out.
right now, that's what's up. I'm from up north, so when I hear a southerner, it's just different side of the
Yeah,
country. So,
yeah.
but yes, if you could just share with us what you're comfortable sharing,
Okay.
and yeah.
All right. So my story is actually like an interesting thing to start off with because I don't tell the story the way I used to tell the story, in the
Mm,
sense that I used to tell the story from just the perspective of a victim. Now, I had to learn that you can be a victim and not have the victim mindset. I carried the victim mindset for most of my adulthood, all of my 20s. But some events happened when I was 30 that made me tell the story from a different perspective. So I like to say that my childhood was very adventurous. It was filled with uncertainty. It was action packed. There was plenty of situations where you were like, man, are they gonna make it out of it? And the thing is, I made it out of all of them. So it was like I said, a lot of uncertainty. To get into the specifics, my parents didn't have the best marriage, to be honest
mm,
with you. I don't talk a whole lot about that because they got divorced when I was 5. Um, but when my mama remarried, that's when like everything became action packed
mm,
and pretty fit for a movie script, if you ask me.
yeah.
But my mama got remarried. I didn't know anything about it. She got remarried actually December 13th of 2002. I didn't know that she was married until May of 2024. So by that time, I'm 13 years old. Now she had only dated one man since her and my dad had divorced. So um obviously
Mhm,
like when I found out who she was married to, it wasn't a surprise at all. But
mhm,
that instance just kind of flipped everything on its head. My mom had finally got to a place of stability because we had been living with my grandparents for years. And like she had finally like got her own car and we got like a new apartment in the suburbs and I had
mhm,
my own room. My sister had her
yeah.
own room. And everything was looking good until after my stepdaddy's daddy's funeral. I remember him and his youngest son came to stay. They came over and I remember just being like, Mama, how long they gonna be here? Me having the understanding that they married, but not really processing that because
Right.
life had just changed in a very good way, but now this
Mhm,
curveball is coming. And I'm like I said, I'm 13 at the time. I don't know how to process it. When I think about it now,
yeah.
it's a silly question.
Mhm, mhm.
They
No,
moved
that
in.
makes sense though, because you was young. So,
Yeah,
you just didn't you didn't know how to process, like you said, you're an adult now. You're able to put all the pieces together, like, wait a minute, that yeah. So
yeah. So they move in and then like eviction notices start popping up and my mama was known for being like extremely clean, extreme like a
mm,
neat freak. But when my stepdad came around, we got our first dog. Uh,
okay.
got our first pit bull, and we got another pit bull, and then we ended up moving out. Um, like before we were ever like legally evicted, we left and moved back into the house that my grandparents had stayed in, but they hadn't lived there for like maybe a year or two. So
Mm,
moved back into that house. House is going into it, but it just gets progressively worse and worse. Those
yeah.
two pit bulls, they ended up, doing their thing and having pit bull puppies.
Oh,
And then after that, some of those puppies ended up doing their thing, had more puppies. So we ended up with 15 pit bulls living in the house with us.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, just wild. Ain't that crazy? Just like, but even as a kid, I remember thinking like, yeah, we got all these dogs. Y'all ain't trying to sell none of these dogs to get us out of this situation that we in. You know what I'm saying? We got yellow
15
water, we got
pit-
roaches.
Wait, time out. 15 pit bulls. Because I grew up with
Yeah,
one. I grew up
15,
with one. But 15?
15, 15 pit.
Ooh, I know they would
Three generations of pit bulls in the house.
they was tearing some stuff up, weren't they?
Oh, they were, oh, word. All right, let's get to the destruction that came from the dogs. All right. So mind you, at the time, the only person who had like an actual bed in the house was my little sister. My mom and my stepdaddy just slept on a mattress. I slept on a mattress. My stepbrother that was living with us, he slept wherever he could fit in. At one point when we first moved back, he had found like a speaker and a folding chair. So his lower body was on the speaker, his upper body was in the folding chair. Now, mind you, like I said, we have 15 pit bulls. So I may, and this had to be like the only time it's ever happened. I may have been asleep, um, got up, gone to school the next day, got off a clean mattress. But when I come home that day, the dogs are all over the place, and the dogs are in my room. So what you think they doing? Pissing
Mm-hmm.
and shitting all in my room on the mattress. You can only flip that mattress over one time.
Mm-hmm.
Flipped it over, go to school the next day, same thing happens. And that was just like a repeated pattern. We had one pit bull, his name was Big Daddy. He was, I want to say second generation. Yeah, Big Daddy was huge. I remember it stormed one time, and most of the dogs were scared of the storm. But Big Daddy was put outside onto the back deck, and it was wood. He had like chew, or what's the past tense of chew?
No, I think it is two.
Just chew.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Because
chong.
I
Chong don't sound
no,
right.
I think it's chew and then chewed. So
Shoot,
chewed.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. He chewed through the wood. And underneath the wood was like metal sheets. So now he's like trying to chew through the metal. And I remember just blood just dripping from his mouth as
Ooh.
he's standing outside in the rain. Me and my sister went to my daddy's house one time for the weekend. We went over there every other weekend. And she had a half bath in her bedroom. Well, another storm happened. They put one of the dogs in there. The dog tears up the door. The dog literally digs a ditch into the bathroom floor. That never gets fixed. I remember one time leaving for like church, and there was this pan that was just left out. And I don't even know how this is like that pan must have been sitting out for a while because when we got back from church, there were maggots in the pan. I remember like roaches in the dishwasher. Like
Wow.
it was wild, but not to mention on top of the 15 pit bulls, at most we had 9 people living with us at one time. So it was me, my youngest, not my youngest, he's the youngest of my stepdads, but he's 5 years older than me. And
Mhm.
I had another stepbrother who's 10 years older. So me, stepbrother, my stepdaddy, my little sister, my stepdaddy's brother, my oldest stepbrother, his wife, and their 2 kids. So 9 people. 9 people. And my sister-in-law, like she was battling like some addiction stuff. I didn't even realize it like I knew this was a problem for her, but I didn't realize at the time like why she was in the state that she was in. I remember just being in the bathroom for what would seem like hours and just being real sweaty all the time. I didn't like know what was going on. Um, but yeah, it was fun. It was a lot. It was a lot. There was no lack of like excitement. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm describing like a very traumatic situation.
Right.
Like the facts
Yeah.
are the facts, but being able to move on from seeing it from one view to another view
Mhm.
is the difference in like who I am today. Yeah,
That's where the power is. That's
yeah,
where the
for
power
sure.
is, where you're able to kind of just really reclaim what was supposed to probably destroy you
Hmm.
and turn it into now encouraging others and, yeah, giving other people hope.
You know what though? I don't even look at it now as it was ever meant to destroy me. I
Okay.
just didn't have. There were some tools I was lacking to
Mm.
prevent me from seeing that all of this was actually for me. And when you're going through it, there's no way you're gonna see it that way. You know
Right.
what I'm
It's
saying?
so true. It's
Like
true.
there's no way because it hurts too much.
It does.
Yeah, yeah, too
It
much pain.
does. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I can identify as well just with trying to understand and make sense of the things that happened to me as a child. But now, 39 years old, I now see why and what, not really what the purpose was, but what now I can use. I mean,
Yeah,
what now I can do and how I can use what happened to me to really influence and encourage those that are going through the same thing. So
yeah,
it wasn't meant, well, I think my situation, I do kind of look at it as it was meant to destroy me,
mhm,
but I always say, but God, right? For me.
yeah.
Because I know that there was a bigger plan. But yeah, I like how you said, well, it wasn't meant to destroy me, but
I just didn't get it. Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, I understand that. So wow, so that, like you said, it sounded like your childhood was really eventful. I mean, you lived it,
Yeah.
you know it best than anyone else. You know, once you kind of grew up and realized that, okay, these things happened to me, and you processed some of those things, like how were you able to kind of come out of that? And are you speaking to your family today? Like, do you still speak to those?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, the family that I was in the household with. So my mom is dead, my stepdad is dead.
Okay.
Um, I don't talk to my step siblings, but I wish them the best,
Mhm,
and I have no like animosity towards any of them.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, yeah. That's the and my little sister's like my best friend. That's my dog. Like
okay.
we don't always agree on everything, but we have so much respect for each other.
Mhm,
And I just love that like we were able to take that situation because she does similar work. Like her work really started after my mom died because my mom shot herself in the head, and my sister got into like suicide prevention and helping people out with that, and like just the mental health side of things, and working with the city of Nashville. So like it's been cool to see her do that. I have an older sister too, but like my older sister doesn't pop up in these stories because by the time all this was happening, she had already like gone off to school. So
yeah.
she been around for a lot and it was in the dark about the majority of it.
Mhm.
But like yeah, my little sister, that's my dog. Me and my mama, before she died, like we had started to really turn things around. Um well, yeah, like I don't hold any animosity. But you asked like, how did I get to the point of like seeing it all differently?
Yeah, and I didn't know that your mother passed from suicide. So
Yeah,
my condolences, because
I
that's,
appreciate it.
that can be hard to digest as well. And I'm sure you're healing, and you're I feel like when we heal, it just continues. That process continues, like,
Mhm.
but yeah, like, how did you take that, hearing about that, and how did it shape how you move forward hearing about your mom?
Oh man, yeah, that
Yeah.
shit was crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was 2021. Um, I found out I was getting ready for work, and I got a text message from my mama. It was in a chat with me and my sisters, and it was like, "I love you more than you ever know," and she was apologizing for stuff, and she was just like, "Get my stuff from him," and we was like, "Okay." So some context. She called us in January or February of that year and was like, "Hey, like I'm ready to leave my marriage." This is my stepdad, the only man she's been with since my parents divorced. So you talking about a good 25 years.
Yeah.
Um, said she was finally ready to go. I had got to a point where I was no longer mad at her. Went no contact a few times, but just started to see her as a human. And when she called me, I think that's when like the switch really flipped over because I was like, damn, like she's actually being vulnerable with me for the first time in my life. She needs me. Okay, cool. Now don't get me wrong, it was hard being there for her.
Mhm.
Because the difference was that I changed, she didn't change. So I'm now putting my change to the test. And
Right.
it's still like some back and forth going on because some days it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, y'all come help me. The other days it's not, I don't need y'all's help. Stay at my business. What y'all doing?
Mm.
Like, damn, well, you called us and we
Right, right.
Me and my sisters, we would talk damn near every day. And some days, one of my sisters may be like, "Hey man, I can't deal with your mama today. Can you?" Yeah, I got it. All right. Well, look, I can't do it today, man. You got it. Okay, cool. But
Mhm.
as a unit, like we were doing the best we could. So when we get that text message, I remember I called my daddy and I was like, "Hey man, something's going on with mama. I don't know what it is, but I'm scared." And that was that. 'Cause I talk to my daddy every morning to this day. And me and my mama for the majority of my life, even though we didn't see eye to eye, talked almost every day. So
Okay.
when I got this text, I also called one of my sisters. I was like, "You see that text from mama?" I was like, "Nah." So then my sisters jump in the chat, and one of them was like, "Hey, like everything's okay. It's cool. We ready to move forward. Like, are you good?" My older sister was like, "Hey, you got 10 minutes to respond before I call the police." Like, because
Okay.
my older sister is very like, I guess as A-type personality. It's just like this is what needs to happen. Okay,
Mhm.
forget like not that she doesn't care about feelings, but she's not gonna sit in them. She's never
Right.
been that type of person. So on my way to work, I called my cousin. I was like, "Hey man, can you like help me? I'm finna go to mama's. Like I'm done with this shit, this whole divorce thing. I'm grabbing her stuff and I'm out." And he's like, "Oh man, I can't. I'm actually finna go out of town." Then I get a call from a random number. Like, wait a minute, let me get this. Hello? And like all I hear is crying. And it's my stepdad. And he's like, "Jeremy, it's your mom. Like, she killed herself." I just screamed. I screamed. Like it wasn't like a thought out scream. It's just
Right.
how my body responded to the news.
Yeah.
And I got myself together. He told me where like they were. I said, okay. I clicked back over to my cousin, was like, "Hey man, mama just killed herself." So he's freaking out. And then like we get off the phone, I get a call from my sister. She's speaking real aggressively. She's like, "Hey, did somebody tell you that mama killed herself, that she's dead?" At this point, I just accepted it. I was like, "Yeah, they did." She was like, "Nah, that ain't true. That's not true." She hung up, just being in disbelief.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So I remember like tears started to come out again. And like doing this whole process with my mama, like the job I was working at, they were very, very kind to me. Cause there were
Mm,
just times where I just couldn't be at work.
right.
I called my job and I was like, "Hey, I'm not coming in. Like my mom is dead. I don't know if it's homicide or suicide." And I remember just going like 45 miles per hour on the interstate, getting off at the exit, running red lights, but just real slow, real calm. And I get there to her apartment, and there's CSI vans and chaplains and detectives. I'm
Mm-mm.
the first family member there. My stepdaddy is there, and some of they like church people. And I just remember I went to my stepdad, asked him what happened, and he was just crying. He was like, "Oh man, I heard his story." One of the chaplains comes and gets me, and I'm calm. I'm super calm.
Mm.
But I see a car fly by me. I turned, I said, "Oh shit, that's my sister." And I just ran back. My sister's different. My little sister, she jumps out the car. She tries to run to the apartment. And like detectives grab her. They had already told me, like, "No, you can't go in there. It's a crime scene." So then like they're trying to like calm her down. She just points at my stepdad and she's like, "He killed my mama. I know he did. I
Mhm.
know he did." And I just walk her out and I'm like, "Okay, cool. We got more family coming." I'm about to like stay by the gate of the apartments because it's gonna be more of that otherwise.
Yeah.
So I just let family come to me. There were definitely family members that ignored me and went straight in looking for my stepdad. But by the end, like the police are taking him away to question him because he he says that he walked into the apartment when the gun went off. So anybody who knows my stepdad, he had a reputation for himself. Um, I don't like using the word narcissist just because I can't back that up with like a diagnosis.
Okay.
But you can put him somewhere in that category,
Okay.
somewhere in that category. And my mom was like one of the last people that he had that level of control over, and she was leaving him. So I'm
Mhm.
okay, cool. Like he popped her. He popped her. Come to find out he didn't do it. But that time period was so interesting, obviously because you have this crazy traumatic situation. But I think I reached a level of peace sooner than people would expect. You see, it's only been 4.5 years. I can smile telling the story. I have no
Right.
emotional attachment. It's just a story that took place that I experienced. I don't even want to call it my story. I don't own it.
Mhm.
I experienced it. You know what I'm saying? My sisters got to that place well before I did. So I had two examples of how to do it. My older sister got there the fastest. Then my little sister. Then I finally caught up. But I remember her services. My sisters were crying when they were talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm up there. The first thing out of my mouth was, "What's up, y'all?" And then I just started telling the truth about my relationship with her. It was not a good relationship. It was a roller
Mm.
coaster. We went back and forth. But I tell you, it was so interesting to see so many people in the crowd that didn't know her that way. So many people in the crowd that she had done so many good things for.
Right.
So I
Okay.
couldn't hold on to my narrative and paint my mama with that same brush. No, I got to see her in totality, and that was cool.
Wow.
That was cool.
I mean, the fact that you are like you can acknowledge that is deep. The fact that you
Yeah,
can see that other people, their version is could be totally different, right? Or what they may have received, and I mean, you're acknowledging that and you appreciate it. So, I mean, that says a lot about you and the healing and the work that you've done.
yeah, yeah. Like she worked heavily in women's prison. She was in part of a prison ministry, and they honored her not long after she died. And just to go in there and then women crying, telling stories about my mom and just how much they appreciated her and all that. And they were very protective of her and my mom was obviously opening up to them because uh the warden asked them if it was cool if my stepdaddy came to the ceremony. They said no, he can't come. So
Ooh,
so my
because they
mom
because they
and
knew what she was going through because she shared that with them. She felt safe, like that was her safe space.
yep, yep,
Wow.
yep. She was a fascinated person. Like I said, I didn't always see it that way. But now and I think just being so open has allowed me to be like, man, things happen. My childhood defined me for so long that when this happened, I was like, I'm not running that playback. I'm not doing that again. Like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. This thing happened. What do I do next? It's all on me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I don't have to be sad the rest of my life. And I don't want to be because I've spent too much of my life already feeling that way. And it's just not fun. It's not fun. I want to have a ball while I'm down here. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Just have fun.
Say it. Say I wow, that's very inspiring to me. And I inspire how you are shifting the narrative and you're not claiming that experience and you're teaching me, okay? Because I'm still, I struggle back and forth with my childhood experience,
Yeah,
I have, some complex PTSD and I shouldn't even be claiming that, but it kicks up. So that trauma kicks up unexpectedly. So to hear you say that is inspiring. Yeah, I'm trying to learn from all my peers, everyone that's on here. And I appreciate you sharing that because that's deep. But shout out to you for, shifting it, making a
yeah.
shift.
I appreciate that. And I don't want you to think, and not saying that you're thinking like this, but I really don't want it to happen. I'm not special. Like
Mhm,
I just made certain decisions.
mhm.
Um, for me, it was, at least in my mind, a matter of life or death. Because what came from all that childhood trauma was a seizure condition that I experienced throughout my adult years. I would only have seizures during my sleep. So I
Wow.
would be scared to go to bed at night.
Jesus.
I was crying to my sister one night. Like we had gone out, we had partied, and when it was time to go home, my ass is scared. I'm crying to her. It's like I'm terrified, man. I don't know if I'm gonna wake up in the morning. But what was more realistic was I didn't know how I was going to wake up or where I was going to wake up. So some of my options, going to sleep in bed, waking up on the floor, cuts in my mouth, on my lip, on my tongue, or going to sleep in bed, waking up in the bed with the cuts and stuff, or the most traumatic, going to sleep in bed, waking up in the ambulance, or waking
Mhm.
up in the hospital and having no memory of how I got there.
Wow.
And only one neurologist said it was the result of unresolved childhood trauma. I I mean, I was told that in 2015. I've been off seizure medicine for a year now,
Oh, thank God.
but
Wow.
I didn't know what was required. I thought my mama needed to change in order for my body to heal. I thought my stepdaddy needed to be different in order for me to be different. But once I decided to change
Mhm.
and forgive my mom, and then when my
Yeah.
stepdad died, like I lost my identity and I cried, and for 2 days I was lost. And then I was like, oh shit, oh, I get to write the story now.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I can forgive. Then I was like, oh,
Yep.
it was this easy the whole time. I've been holding on to something, thinking
Yeah.
that it was what I was and who I was, not
Yep.
knowing that I had the capability of changing. So
That
when I
part.
decided to change, my body healed.
Look at
That
God. Look at that. Listen.
is that's crazy. That is so crazy.
And my thing is to change, right? When you get that epiphany or what do we call is it called an epiphany? Like what do
Yeah,
we call that?
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, like okay, wait a minute. Like when you finally see it as wait a minute, I have the power, right? That's when you begin to look at life differently and that I can identify with that because it's the same with me. Like I
Yeah,
finally forgave my mother. You know, some days I'm a little sad, but
yeah,
I forgave her. I don't hold it against her. I don't hold, I don't hang on to it. So that's so dope that, you know, you were able to just take your power back.
yeah. And I'm never giving it up again.
Yeah.
It means too much.
Yeah. Wow. I it's so important that, when you experience a high level of trauma and those experiences can shape how your life pans out
Yeah,
if you don't take that power and fight to change it because it's not easy work. Like we're seeing a healed or, someone who's going to continue to heal because we all are going to continue, right? We're going to see new things and we're going to grab hold of that. But to see someone who's healing, um, you know, that's powerful. And what is like, what does your life mean now to you now that you've taken back that power? And how is your days?
um, my days are pretty cool. I at this point have complete control over my days, and what I mean by that is I have complete control over my emotions. So things are always gonna happen. Things are always gonna happen. You're gonna live out like your response to that. Like my whole thing is like we're talking about childhood. The facts are the facts. But I can always shift what they mean to me and how I respond to those things. So just having control over that. I'm a very curious person when it comes to like my own capabilities.
Mhm.
Um, and in every aspect of my life, like not just the work that I'm doing with trying to help people, create their lives and things like that, but just even in my day to day, always asking like, okay, how can I be better? How can I be better? How can I be better? But not
Mhm.
from a place of like shaming myself for where I am.
Right.
I just want to live like the easiest life I can.
Amen.
And I've gotten to a good place. But overall, what does my life mean? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see all that so differently now. Um, I think my life is gonna mean whatever I want it to mean, but
Mhm.
I'm not in a rush to figure out what that is.
Okay.
Um, which is crazy because it's crazy I'm saying that, and this just hit me. The last thing I told the people at my mama's funeral was, "Don't miss life looking for purpose. Just live." So I'm in that space. I'm in that space.
Yeah. So just live.
Mhm.
Just live. You know, it just makes me think about how everybody has different perspectives. And when you say just live, I don't know how to do that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I know how to just live. I think that there are moments where I can just live, but then there's other moments where I'm kind of in my head and I'm like, what does this mean? And what does that mean? Like, I want to know, what does certain things mean? And then I think later down the line, I always have a better understanding of the situations or the experiences. So yeah, learning how to just live, there's so much peace in that, I'm sure. I've been able to learn how to live, I'm still working my way around that. But I know there's so much peace when it comes to just living.
You want to know the secret?
Yes.
All right. Understanding neutrality. Um, my mom, perfect example. Like I said, like what my mom was to me was not who she was to those women in the prison. It doesn't mean that one truth outweighs the other. It really means that all of it is true, which makes my mom a neutral person. And I get to decide whatever meaning I take away from my experiences with her. So I took that situation and just applied it to everything in my life.
Yeah.
I see everything as neutral. I don't see anything as having like inherent meaning. It's whatever I want it to be. And um what I want it to be is going to be based off of who I am when I make that decision. So when I was going when I was dealing with all the trauma and everything,
Mm-hmm.
who I was at that time gave those situations a different meaning. I wasn't laughing, talking about it. I was angry.
Right.
I face balled up, I'm still in pain. Trying to talk to my mama about it. I'm beating her over the head. Well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. If my mama was alive today, our conversations would be so different because I'm a different person. Therefore, I can't even look at my past the same.
Right. Right.
So I just took those situations and just, like I said, applied it to everything in my life. Like
Wow.
a flat tire could mean anything, or it could, I mean, but not to exclude, it's just a flat tire. You
Right,
know,
right, 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 right.
because I used to always try to figure out, oh, well, what's the meaning? What's the meaning? Yeah, now, like I said, now I'm in a place, it means whatever I want it to mean. It means whatever I want. And that just brings so much just peace. And I don't, the other thing that I don't do, that I was trying to do with my mom, I wanted everybody on my side. So when I'm telling the story, I want everybody to feel how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I had to stop doing that and just understand, like you said, everybody has different perspectives. Everybody is just moving through life the best way that they know how to move through life and in a way that's comfortable for them. I had to understand, and I've gotten good at it over the last few months. Um, the way that I live my life is for nobody but me.
Right.
If somebody decides that they like the way I live and they want an opinion or some advice, cool, give it. Otherwise, shut up. Shut up. Just let people live. Just let
Yeah. That's so true. Wow, just live. And you know what is a powerful piece that you said is that when you would share your story, that you would want people to feel how you felt or how you feel towards your mother. That's deep. That's deep. And now you understand, or you said that she was a neutral person.
yeah,
That like she did these things, but she also was this as well.
yeah. And two things, three things, four things
Could
can be
be
true at the same
true.
time.
It can be. And you know what's so crazy? As you're speaking, I'm thinking about like my mother as well, and how there's many people that could say great things about who she was. Like,
Mhm.
how she fed the homeless and how she, supported people that were addicted, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't get to see that. I didn't see that side of her. So to me, I'm like, you was put on the front. But
Mhm.
that really was who she was for those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of freedom in accepting that. Like you just let it go. You just let
So,
it go.
but I guess my question is,
Uh-huh.
she was like that for those people. Why couldn't she be like that for me?
Okay,
That
I can.
that's where my mind goes too.
Right, right. My mom went there a lot. I trust me, when people would speak highly of my mama, like one of my exes, her friend worked with my mama and she loved my mama. And I was just thinking, like, the fuck? Like, what? There was no shame and guilt in that relationship between my ex's friend and my mama, shame and guilt didn't allow my mama to connect with me like that. Also, my actions didn't allow my mama to connect with me like that because I was adding more shame and guilt. I reminded her of, where she fucked up as a mom.
Mm,
So I aided in that, but she also carried enough shame and guilt of her own. Like it was
yeah.
hard for her to admit that she messed up and admit
Mm,
how bad she messed up. So it
yeah.
was easier to pour into people who didn't know her mistakes.
Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry, but oh my God, I never thought of it like that. I'm getting emotional
It's
because
cool.
that's deep. That's real. That's deep to say that, she was so, she had a lot of shame and guilt behind some of the things that she, maybe caused in your life, right? Or whoever's life, your family, right, or your siblings, that she was able to now pour into others because of partially, right? Because that's probably who she is, period, who she was,
Yeah,
right? That's who she was, regardless. And also even more so because of maybe the things that she knew that she did to you all or caused pain or
yeah, yeah. That
that.
that that shame and guilt is it's gonna stop you from living your life. It's gonna stop you every time. Every time.
Well, you speak on that. I also lost my mother,
Right.
she overdosed. Um, and it was the shame and guilt, I believe, that held her. I mean, the reason why she's not here anymore, right? Like it was the shame and
Mhm.
guilt. And she couldn't admit a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I only know a lot of things because I found this book that she wrote in all these journals, and I was baffled when I read her admissions. I couldn't believe it because it was things that I already knew,
Mhm.
but she had never said them to me. Even though
Right.
I knew them, she would say, "No, that never happened. This is what happened," and then I wanted to believe her so bad. But
Mhm.
then I get the book that is like, my memory, I called it right. You did this
Yeah.
thing, right? Well, these things, because it wasn't just one thing, right? It was
Right. Right.
over 18 years. Well, not even over 18, over 30 something years. But wow,
Shame and
that's
guilt.
deep.
Yeah, I think like your mom couldn't say it to you, but she wrote it down. She was holding on to it.
And she knew I would find it because she
Yeah.
put me on everything. When she put me on all her medical stuff, her apartment. So when she died, she knew that I was gonna be the one to get that book.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. When I found it, all I could do was cry and say, "Thank you, God," because whoever gets stuff like this. So
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't, God said, for all of your pain, for everything you went through, this next season in your life is, you're not even going to be able to put words to it. And I stand firm on that.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Can you put words to this? Did you think that you would be hosting
No,
podcasts and yeah,
no,
exactly.
no. My Newfound 21, my nonprofit organization that helps, those who've experienced familial sexual abuse.
Mhm.
And Jen, there's so much other stuff that I can't even talk about right now
Okay. Okay.
going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it, but my God, when y'all do hear about it, you're gonna be like,
That's what's up.
because I can't even believe it. But yeah, I always say God keeps his promises.
Mm.
And I remember that little girl praying and saying, "God, take me away from this family and
Mhm.
protect me," at 7 and 6 years old. And I look back and I'm like, I used to pray that prayer all the time. God, you did it. You did it. Like, I should be crazy right now. We all could be crazy. We could all be,
Yeah.
but God, I say, but God for me. And yeah, we're here doing this right now. So
Yeah.
turning that pain into purpose.
Exactly. Because it can't just sit. It can't. It can't.
No. So, like, do you have children?
No children.
No children. Okay. So, I mean, you talked about healing, you talked about how you changed the way that you looked at things. Did you go through therapy? Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I don't give therapy the credit. But I did go to therapy. I had the best therapist I could have ever asked for in that moment. Our two stories, I mean, my therapist could be like on like a third split of the screen and she would fit right in. She was at the time like ideally who I wanted to be like because she let me know it was okay like not to talk to my mom. And I thought, that there's some type of obligation. Like, that's my mama. Like, what you mean? I don't have to talk to
Right.
her. She's not caring about the relationship. She's caring about the pain that I was in. And she was like, it's okay. You can do that. Um, but therapy helped me know that that was okay, and it helped me understand like what I was dealing with. Um, but as far as like the actual healing, I have so many thoughts about healing. Um, it was a 12-year journey for me.
Mm.
But when I got to, I'll call it the finish line because I do believe that I think there's a finish line for it. When I got to the finish line, I was just like, that's it. Like that. Wait, all I had to do was make this decision. I'm gonna walk through everything.
Mhm.
So therapy, going no contact twice with my mom. Not long. Just I did it twice, and it was like a month each. But worked greatly for me.
Mhm.
Um, So being able to forgive her, and I remember just having conversations with her, just being like, "Look, mama, all the past, I'm done with it. Like, let's just move forward. We can't go back, and you can't be the mom I wanted you to be back then, but we can have a relationship now. So let's just
Right.
meet where we are as individuals now and build from there." So then she ends up dying, um, and then that was a tough time for my family, period. But things that I could say helped me out. Um, Books. I started reading a book called Personality Isn't Permanent.
Mhm.
And that book just really blew my mind. I was listening to a podcast at the time called Impact Theory, and the author was on there. And I was just like, I'm gonna get that book. So I went to the bookstore, got it. The author, like, he went through a lot as a kid. Like, his dad was, I think he was an alcoholic. And he, like, the whole premise of the book is like your personality is based off of your environment,
Mhm.
and your personality is truly built around your goals. So we think that our personality is based off of things that happened to us in the past. Oftentimes, that's true for people who haven't set goals in life. But once you have a goal in life, you
Right.
have to become the person that can achieve that goal. Therefore, your personality is going to change.
Yes.
Um, then I started reading a book called The Power of Now, which, man, I tell everybody about this book. Um, the author's name is Eckhart Tolle, and pretty much it's about just being present and living in the present moment. If you
Mhm.
live too much in the past, regardless of if your past was good or bad, you live too
Mhm.
much there, there's a good chance that you'll end up being depressed because you want to get that stuff back and you'll never get it back. It don't work that way. But if you live too much in the future, you're going to create anxiety for yourself.
Right.
Oftentimes, when we let our imagination run wild, we always think a worst case scenario. So, the best place and the only place to find true happiness is just being present and enjoying the little things in the moment. So that helped out a lot. I remember I listened to a whole bunch of Frank Ocean during that time and a whole bunch of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That came out almost a year after my mom died. But yeah, and then my sisters, man,
Yeah.
my sisters. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have them. To
Mm.
be real, like they have always just meant the world to me in different ways. Um, and like it's all three of us who have that bond.
Mhm.
Um, but okay, so when I got to the moment of like I know I'm healed, like I said, for me it was a matter of life or death. It was those seizures. Um, my stepdad, after my mom died, and like I remember the emptiest feeling I've ever felt in my life was after eating with the family after my mama's funeral. Because at that point, we had a funeral 2 weeks after she died. You're not like your reality is so different. Everybody hitting you up, everybody checking on you, everybody want to cook for you, bring you food and all that.
Right.
But I remember walking out the restaurant and literally saying to myself, what's next? Like, what happens now? Because those phone calls, I knew they were gonna stop. I knew the attention was gonna stop. So I really
Right.
had to sit there and deal with what I was feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and it was anger. So I just went on a whole campaign on Facebook, letting everybody know, but without saying it,
Yeah.
my stepdaddy killed my mom. And I wanted everybody to believe that. And my mama worked for the police department. So obviously, like, everybody over there is taking it bad. The detective that was there, he said he got the call. He's used to getting these calls. But when he got to my mom's apartment and saw it was her, he just broke down crying. And I remember he just came out to us and was like, you don't want to see it. I'm not gonna let you see it. You can't see it. You can't. Um, so I'm just letting everybody know, like I said, without coming out straight up and just saying it, just hinting towards it. Because I'm angry. I'm angry. Then I ended up moving to when did I moved to LA? 2023. So I would say like from July 2021 onward, I'm on like this whole campaign. And then maybe I had to see my stepdaddy like twice because my mom's last request was get my stuff from him. Well, we ended up never getting her stuff until he died in November 2023. But after that, it was just like, yo, it's done. This chapter's gone.
Right.
This chapter's closed.
Right.
Am I still gonna try to live in it? And I was like, no, no. But I got really deep into like neuroscience and understanding how the brain works,
Yeah.
and really into there's another author named Joe Dispenza. He has a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And he literally breaks down like the science of change to a cellular level and what all is required and why it's, so difficult for most people. And really got into meditating and just like
Mm.
understanding that there's always been a science to all of this, to all of this. And I'm a process person. I like knowing how things work.
Right.
So I just got obsessed with that. But when it actually happened in my life, when my stepdaddy died and I had those few days, I'll tell you the truth. That was November 2023. August 2024, I was moving back from LA to Nashville. And I was sitting on the beach. I was reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I was smoking. And I remember I just stood up and I just looked out at the Pacific Ocean. I love LA. I gotta move back. But
Yeah.
um I used to rap Tupac to Live and Die in LA in my head all the time. Cause that's a core memory from my childhood. My daddy was a huge Tupac, Death Row. So we listened to all that growing up. So to be living in LA and driving down Sunset Boulevard with that song turned up, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh my. Right.
But I remember looking at the Pacific Ocean and I was singing it to myself. And I was like, wait, to live and die in LA? Like, nah, like, cause I understand the power of the tongue. I was like, nah, I wanna live. So I started singing to live in LA, and then it hit me. Bruh, you died out here. You literally died. You are not the same person that you were before you got to LA. You
Right.
literally forgave your stepdaddy out here, which is something you never thought you could do. You will never have another seizure again, ever.
Mm.
And once I understood that, I was just like, wow, life is so cool, man. Oh man, it's so enjoyable when you get to these places where nothing can harm you.
Amen.
I can't be harmed. If there's anything that's hurting me, I'm checking myself first. I'm checking me. What am I doing wrong? Oh, well, this situation keeps harming me. Well, why do you keep showing up?
No, it's true. Come on now. Say it. Come
Why
on
do
now.
you, why do you keep showing up? Why you are, and I believe this is true for, and this is tough to say, but this is really what I believe. I believe that human beings, individuals, this is tough to say. I don't even know if I want to say it.
It's okay now. Look,
We
'cause
we are the cause of our own suffering.
can we say that again? Because I knew you was going somewhere like this, and I agree. I agree.
We are the cause for our own suffering.
We
And
are.
there are things in society that have been made to lower our self-esteem, or
Mhm.
just like so for instance, like the idea of family. We will
Mhm.
stay in a family and suffer just to maintain the family because society has taught us this is
Yeah.
what is supposed to happen. And
Right.
that's why it makes us hard to leave. Or if we're a child, as kids, we feel like we don't have options because of our place in society. We still
Mhm.
have those options. We're just unaware of them.
Right.
And hopefully those kids grow up to be like you and I. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I always had the ability to
Mhm.
do so. I just didn't know. And
I
no,
didn't know how. I didn't know how to do it, but
yeah,
once you learn how to do it, there's no stopping.
yeah,
And there's so much power in, you know, we we have the power and we create some of all these, whirlwinds, especially for those that are so used to having chaotic, ness going on in their life. Like you said, staying in a family just because we want to keep that title, blood is thicker than water. But listen, my family is I have my chosen family and my two boys that and my niece and my nephew, that's my blood related, right? But then I have my chosen sisters. They're not blood related, but those are who I chose. And
yeah,
my biological family, why? We don't need to have a relationship.
yeah,
God bless you. If I see you on Facebook, if you say hi, I'm gonna say hi back to you. There's no hate. It's just, yeah, I'm not gonna allow myself to be put in situations where I am targeted, where
mhm,
there's toxicity happening. I need peace.
yeah,
And if that means only having 4 friends, because that's what it is for me. Look, they my family. 4
yeah,
family members outside of my biological, that's what it is. And
yeah.
acceptance is key. Once you can
Acceptance.
accept it and you believe it, right? You got to believe it too. Accept it and believe it. Then that's when the power comes in and you can then create what it is that is meant for you. But it
Yeah,
takes work. It's just not sitting on your behind and saying, poor me. Cause I was a victim at one point too. Well, the victim mentality.
yeah,
Poor me. Guys, listen to what happened. But no, now it's listen to what happened and look at me.
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
you can do this too.
And that's the key. It's just knowing, like, to me, there's no excuse in today's world not to be who or what you want to be because there are so many examples,
Mm,
you know. Uh, but this is what holds people up. So much of and the reason why it took me 12 years, like I don't think it took me 12 years to make a decision. It
mhm,
took me 12 years to let go of an identity. That's the hard part. So when you identify with all the like traumatic things that happened to you, your brain is literally gonna want to keep you there simply because it's what's familiar.
right.
Changing, healing is unfamiliar. And your
Yes.
brain is gonna reject that until you build up enough strength or enough repetition in doing new things to like rewire your brain and create new patterns for yourself.
Mm.
It's that identity piece. Like the victim was cool for me. Oh, you want to hear my story? Oh, I get all this sympathy. Oh, okay,
Tell
cool.
anybody who want to hear,
Yeah,
right?
I want to know. But now I
Right.
know I was telling the story before it was done being written,
That part.
and it's still
I It ain't done. It ain't done. It ain't done. I say the same thing. I'm in the process right now of reading all like my childhood records and stuff. And of course there's tears there and it's also like, wow.
yeah,
Like to know I made it out of all of that.
yeah,
There's so much power in that and the gratefulness that comes with being able to even read them. And yeah, just look at where I'm at today is wild.
yeah,
That I'm no longer that person. Like I have control, like I'm safe, like there is peace, in the midst of whatever's going on, whether
yeah,
anything that's going on, there's still that peace there. There's still peace.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. Man, my God, right? This was so dope, Jeremy. Like I really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yes, no, and all of your wisdom, all of your knowledge that you just dropped on us. I know it's helped me. So I know it's helping the people out there. I know y'all out there are, encouraged. I know y'all are, and I pray that y'all are. How can we find you again? Can you
Yeah,
let us know again, like where we can find
you gotta
you?
find me on TikTok, at Down South Chico. That's DOWNSOUFCHICO. I go live on there every day. You can also join my school community at the Pattern Breakers. Um, that's where like my TikTok is really based off like helping people identify like why they're angry and things like that. But once you join my school community, oh, that's where we finna rewire like your whole brain, and you're gonna leave with a new identity because that's what you need in order to break family patterns. That's the main thing I help people with. I specialize in helping people who are tired of being angry at their mama break family patterns and start to create their life. That's what it's about for me.
Yes, let's go. Okay. And I'm gonna make sure that's all in the description. So y'all go look in that description. It's all there. I want to thank you for being on C's podcast. And I hope that this was, you know, this is part of your journey, right? Like being
Yeah,
on
for
here
sure.
and sharing your story with us. I hope that it was helpful for you as well. But you all, until next time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, y'all, later. Yes, Jeremy, thank you so much.
Thank you. You are the first person I've said